My sister-in-law activated a fetal swap system, exchanging her daughter for my son. In our previous life, she desperately wanted a son but had 3 daughters in a row. Meanwhile, pregnant at the same time, gave birth to a boy and was hailed as the family's hero. When her youngest daughter was diagnosed with a developmental delay, my son proved to be exceptionally brilliant and was regarded as a prodigy from a young age. My sister-in-law was consumed with hatred at my son's banquet to celebrate his top ranking in the imperial exams. My sister-in-law carried me and jumped down the stairs. In this life, when my sister-in-law proposed the idea of switching babies, I immediately agreed. The top-ranking son she desires is the demon I wish to strangle day and night. 1. Host. Once you drink this cup of tea, the system will automatically transform the child in your womb. The system notification sound rings. In front of me, my sister-in-law Jiang Fan hands over the transformation tea. Drinking this tea, I will lose my identity as a guide and transform into a supporting NPC. My sister-in-law kept urging me to drink tea, her eyes fixed on me. Sister-in-law, we're really destined to be pregnant at the same time. This is a nourishing tea for a healthy pregnancy that I got from an old Chinese medicine practitioner. It's all for the baby's health, so give it a try. My mother-in-law chimed in with a smile. Yes, it's such a blessing for our family that both of you are pregnant at the same time. Take good care of your pregnancies and give me 2 big grandsons. After saying that, she glanced at her sister-in-law. Intentionally or not, this is her sister-in-law's 3rd pregnancy, her last hope to try 4. She was an older mother with poor health, and the doctor advised her to terminate the pregnancy. Instead, she slapped the waiver form in the doctor's face, causing a scene in the hospital, accusing the doctor of lacking medical ethics and killing life. Insisting on having the child. In my past life, I sympathized with her, treated as a mere reproductive tool by her in-laws, but after witnessing her intense desire for a son and her cold attitude toward her daughter, I suddenly understood the reasons for someone's wickedness can sometimes be due to their environment, and sometimes it's just their nature. Thank you, sister-in-law. I took the teacup and drank it all in one go. As the last drop disappeared, the excitement in my sister-in-law's eyes grew brighter. She didn't know that I had been reborn too. Ding, adventurer identity updated successfully. She was grinning from ear to ear, her eyes filled with even more scorn and triumph. She lifted her head, stroked her 5-month-old belly, and walked away proudly. As she left, she finally mustered the courage to instruct her mother-in-law to buy an old hen. Your grandson wants to eat it, too. In my past life, I was a guide, a mother to a highly intelligent antisocial genius. The mission was to raise a genius child with potential criminal genes into a good person. The mission was forced to end during the child's coming-of-age celebration at 18. My sister-in-law and I died together. She was obsessed with her son and consumed by jealousy and hatred towards me. She dragged me down the stairs with her. As I fell, on the brink of death, I suddenly caught sight of those indifferent, lifeless eyes upstairs. It was the face of the son I had raised for 18 years, indifferent as he watched his dying mother, even lying that the ambulance was already on its way, preventing everyone from calling, and watching me take my last breath. In that moment, I let go and peacefully accepted death. This mission should have failed long ago. A born devil, beyond anyone's salvation. In this life, my sister-in-law accidentally bound herself to a fetus replacement system. She aims to become the new strategist, the mother of the top scholar. I asked the system, does she know what kind of child has been swapped into her womb? The system shook its head. It said that upon learning she could exchange the fetus in her womb, the new host was overjoyed and had no patience to listen to a detailed introduction of the child. I know, a child prodigy, through and through. I watched him grow up. How could I not know about this child? A son, especially one as respectable as this, is exactly what I've always dreamed of. I'd be more than willing. Hurry up, I want to swap babies. This is so much better. Then those 3 girls, 3 stupid girls can't compare to the value of a son. She also said that her sister-in-law has had it too easy in life, and it's time she had a problem child to experience some of life's hardships. The child swapped into my womb was her developmentally delayed 3rd daughter, a poor little girl who was despised by her own mother since childhood and called a retard to her face. I lowered my head and smiled, gently stroking my swollen belly. I whispered in my heart, baby, welcome to be mommy's daughter. The horror of that child, only the parents who are with him day and night can know. I wish your mother from your previous life all the best. 3. A week later, the sister-in-law called the mother-in-law out. That afternoon, the mother-in-law came back to pack her things and insisted on moving to her eldest son's house. The eldest son's house is small, and there are 2 kids around 10 years old. So there's no room for her. The mother-in-law wouldn't listen and insisted on going. Under her husband's questioning, she finally admitted it. The sister-in-law took her mother-in-law to a private hospital for a prenatal checkup, secretly bribing the doctor to determine the baby's gender. I saw it clearly. It's a boy. Second brother, your elder brother finally got a son after so much effort. You must take good care of him, no slacking off. Your elder brother needs a son to take care of him in his old age. I'll go and take care of him myself. That's the only way I'll feel at ease. My husband was hopping mad, saying the doctor had no medical ethics and illegally checked the baby's gender. My mother-in-law was displeased. What's so unethical about this? It's good news. Aren't you happy for your older brother? Don't let people fill your head with nonsense all day long until you can't even tell who your real family is. But he's your own nephew. She's being sarcastic with me, just like in my previous life. She always thought that after her son got married, I would often sow discord and be unkind to her precious grandson. It's not her fault. She's naturally dim-witted, blindly favoring boys. In my previous life, her son used his mother to torment me a lot. Honey, let's just let mom go. More hands make lighter work, and it's good for sister-in-law to rest during her pregnancy. I grabbed my husband's hand and persuaded him. A figure suddenly darted in through the slightly ajar door. It's my sister-in-law, so she had come up with my mother-in-law. Afraid we'd take our anger out on her, she had been hiding. Seeing us relent, she decided to come out of hiding. That's right, Lin Yu, you should try to understand your sister-in-law's position. My husband wasn't a fool. He grasped the situation in an instant. He still wouldn't let go. Xiaomeng is also pregnant. Why don't you show some concern for your daughter-in-law? At this remark, the mother-in-law and the sister-in-law exchanged glances. They yanked her husband over. They were whispering behind my back. Son, your wife is carrying a girl. You're both still young. When she's pregnant with a boy next time, it won't be too late for me to come back and help. That's right, little brother. She really is having a daughter. My husband and I don't care whether it's a boy or a girl, as long as it's our own. It's a treasure to our family. I couldn't help but laugh and asked, how do you know I'm having a daughter? Could it be that the sister-in-law let the mother-in-law know about the baby swap? I consulted a master. You're carrying a daughter, and I'm carrying a son. My son will be a dragon among men, according to the system rules. She naturally wouldn't dare. Only this vague ghost story can fool the elderly, for, with my mother-in-law gone, the house is much quieter. I'm enjoying the freedom. My husband bought me a lot of beautiful clothes and jewelry. Among them were even a couple of baby outfits. They had the cutest little pink lace trims. Even though he claims not to believe in fortune-telling, some of it must have gotten through to him. Watching him start preparing for his future daughter so early, I felt both happy and anxious. My sister-in-law didn't tell him about the baby's health. First, she didn't want to be accused of making a malicious curse. Second, she wanted me to have a smooth delivery, and except for the baby's gender, she remained silent about everything else. This way, I can suffer steadily. Giving birth to a daughter is a sin. Giving birth to an impaired daughter is an even greater sin. 5. In the blink of an eye, my mother-in-law's milestone birthday arrived. My sister-in-law and I were both nearing our due dates. At the birthday banquet, all the guests rushed to congratulate her on her wonderful fortune. She was about to get 2 grandsons at once. Beaming with joy, she was absolutely over the moon. Every time this happened, my sister-in-law would chime in from the side. Mine is definitely a boy, no doubt about it. As for my sister-in-law's, well, that's harder to say. It's fine, you're still young anyway. There's plenty of time to try for a second child. Her meaning was crystal clear. She shot me a challenging look with a raised eyebrow. Convinced she was living the ultimate power fantasy life of a protagonist, the guests were understanding and all agreed that sons and daughters are the same, and that a daughter is a warm and caring companion. My sister-in-law chuckled. Let's hope so. I just hope she's not a little troublemaker who's full of surprises. Oh, your sister-in-law has such a gentle nature. Looking after the baby should be a breeze for her. After holding it in for months, they finally couldn't resist mocking the imperfect child in my womb. In her past life, she endured endless gossip and scorn from others because of this child. her mother-in-law treated her with even more contempt, saying she had given birth to a burden that would drag the whole family down. She even urged my elder brother to get a divorce and find another woman to bear him a son. Thankfully, the eldest brother is kind-hearted. He dotes on his 3 daughters and staunchly defends their mother. It's because of him that his wife has a stable, complete family, yet she doesn't seem to appreciate how hard-won this family is. She frequently yells at the 3 girls and often resorts to physical punishment. The youngest daughter has been withdrawn since childhood, and the 2 older ones are timid and cower in front of others. My sister-in-law cursed them as worthless burdens who stole her chance of having a son. She called her youngest daughter a jinx who would drag the whole family down into misery. 6. When I was 8 months pregnant, my mother-in-law gave my sister-in-law and me each a gold bracelet. When my sister-in-law received the bracelet, she let out a gasp of amazement. She weighed it in her hand and immediately put it on. It was the bracelet my mother-in-law from my previous life had given me. On the night I successfully gave birth to my son, my mother-in-law rushed to present me with a congratulatory gift. My sister-in-law could only stand to the side, holding her daughter, looking on with envy. She had given birth to another daughter. My mother-in-law visited only once, hastily handing over a red envelope to fulfill the obligation, and yet, I was the one who received the heavy gold bracelet in this lifetime. The hefty gold bracelet from her mother-in-law finally found its way onto her wrist. Beaming, she gave her a hug. She called out sweetly, "Thank you, Mom." Then, she shifted her gaze to me. "Sis, aren't you going to thank Mom?" My husband's face had already darkened. I pressed his hand, signaling him to calm down. "Thank you, Mom, and thank you, sis-in-law." My bracelet was picked out by my sister-in-law. At a glance, it's clear it's not pure gold, with rough craftsmanship and dull color. Compared to the bracelet on her wrist, the price difference is several times. It later proved to be gold-plated copper. "You're welcome. I hope you like it." My sister-in-law slightly raised her chin. I stroked the bracelet in my hand, secretly amused, and hoped you would like the gift I gave you. 7. On the day of childbirth, only my husband was waiting outside the delivery room. My mother-in-law was left in my sister-in-law's ward. She checked into the hospital well in advance to await the birth in peace, and her mother-in-law was right there, attending to her every need. "Mom, there's something I have to tell you," the fortune teller said. "The baby my sister-in-law is having won't be whole." The moment she heard there was something wrong with the baby, the mother-in-law, who had only meant to peek into the delivery room, sank heavily into a chair, her eyes darting. My sister-in-law decided to just spill everything about her daughter. After holding it in for so long, she could finally get it all off her chest. Besides, she was about to give birth anyway. What? She can't speak, so she's mute. Damn it, how could you give birth to such a thing? What a sin, marrying such a useless woman. The mother-in-law is wailing and making a scene. She's itching to come and curse in the delivery room. My sister-in-law was very pleased. "I've finally come to understand the suffering she endured in her past life. Mom, just let the second son's child fend for herself. She's 18 and still can't speak. The one in my belly is the family's pride and joy. Exceptionally bright, a future top scholar. Look, the moment I got pregnant with him, your son got a promotion and a raise. Isn't that proof he's our little lucky star?" As the transmigrator tasked with this challenging mission, the system granted her abundant material resources. From the moment the fetus swap succeeded, the eldest brother's midlife career crisis vanished. He soared up the ranks, ushering in a second spring for his career. The sister-in-law took the opportunity to boast about herself, claiming it was all due to her good fortune. The mother-in-law looked at the sister-in-law's belly with satisfaction and handed her a big red envelope. "Yes, yes. My grandson is the most important. This is the red envelope from your mother-in-law." Then she took out a beautifully crafted solid gold longevity lock. "And here's our grandson's longevity lock. You're truly the hero of our family." 8. After hours of agony, I finally heard the cry of my baby. It was clear and strong. The doctor congratulated me, saying I had given birth to a beautiful baby girl. Weakly, I smiled and carefully reached out to curl my finger around her tiny hand. "Welcome to the world, my little girl. I'm so glad you're my daughter. I hope you grow up healthy and strong." It was as if she could sense what I was feeling, her big, round eyes wide open. She cried even louder. They took the baby for her newborn checkup. Just as I was wheeled back into the room, I saw my sister-in-law's beaming face. My husband confronted his mother. Demanding to know why she hadn't come to see me even once during the many hours of labor, she stammered and muttered under her breath, "What's so special about having a girl? It's not like I haven't given birth myself. I had 2 sons back to back and never made such a fuss. Besides, it's still a..." The sister-in-law quickly interrupted her mother-in-law. She laughed to smooth things over. "Oh dear, I just felt unwell in my stomach, and I was worried about your nephew. Mom couldn't rest easy, so she stayed with me. Don't blame Mom, I need help here too. Your nephew is big, and carrying him is tough, not like your wife, carrying a girl. Her small frame is much easier." They already know I had a daughter, and their words are becoming more and more reckless. My sister-in-law sat down, rubbing her belly, and took out the longevity lock given by my mother-in-law. "Sister-in-law, this is a gift from Mom for the baby. You need to work harder too. This is passed down to boys, not girls. Try harder for the next one." My husband waved them out, claiming the need for rest. Sister-in-law wouldn't let it go and insisted on seeing the baby. "Look, if there's something wrong with the baby, if it's born not crying or making a sound, you shouldn't try to hide it. We're family, aren't we? Everyone should pitch in and help each other out. It's just a mute child. It's not like the family can't afford to raise one." My husband was furious. The baby had just been born less than an hour ago and was still undergoing the newborn checkup when someone came gloating, saying the child was mute, flaunting the fact she's carrying a son. "That's more than anyone could take. Get out of respect for you as my elder sister-in-law, and because you're with child, I've held my tongue time and again, but you just keep pushing your luck. I'd love her even if she were mute. That's still better than a sexist like you. How can you be so backward in this day and age? You're a woman yourself. Why don't you hate yourself enough to go jump in a river?" After that outburst, silence fell over the hospital room. The elder sister-in-law was in tears, insisting that the fright had caused her to miscarry. Although her son didn't directly scold her, the mother-in-law could clearly hear the accusation in his words. After all, her disdain for her daughter was written all over her face. Livid with rage, she shielded the sister-in-law, throwing herself on the ground in a tantrum and vowing to disown her son. "Married a wife and forgot your mother. I raised you this big, and you've lost your conscience. Your sister-in-law is right, eh? Mute, dragging all of you down. Better just throw him to death." When she said this, she was stunned herself. Sister-in-law raised the corners of her eyes, looking on with an air of amusement. In her past life, when her third daughter was born, her mother-in-law had wanted to dash the infant to death. It was her eldest brother who desperately saved the child. "Mom, you're asking me to kill my own child. Go ahead. Since you like the grandson in your sister-in-law's belly, you won't be the grandmother of my child anymore." My husband was devastated, unable to believe what he had just heard. My mother-in-law panicked, explaining it was just a slip of the tongue, but it was too late. I calmly watched this drama unfold. There's no emotional disturbance at all at this moment. The nurse enters carrying the baby. "Congratulations, Mom and Dad, the baby is very healthy." "Hey, what are you arguing about? Don't you know the mother needs to rest?" The husband wept with joy as he watched his daughter cry. The expressions on the mother-in-law and sister-in-law's faces were utterly blank. "Absolutely fascinating." 9. "What did you say? Not mute? That's impossible. She clearly is. Nothing has changed." The sister-in-law rushed over, staring at her daughter in the nurse's arms, muttering to herself, "Yes, these features, this face, isn't this the mute little daughter she despised in her past life?" "Sister-in-law, please leave. Otherwise, don't blame me for disregarding my brother's feelings." My husband signaled to the nurse to protect the child and then placed them in my arms, kept trying to shoo her away. "Jejia just gave birth. She needs to rest. Mom, don't bother coming anymore. You already said you'd go take care of my sister-in-law during her confinement anyway." Jejia married far from home, and I already feel terrible about that. My company approved my long leave, and I will take good care of them. Seeing her son's stern expression, the mother-in-law's face was etched with disappointment. She gave her husband a hard shove. "You ungrateful wretch, I'm your own mother. You treat that outsider like royalty just because she gave you a daughter. I'm putting it out there right now. If Sun Jia doesn't give me a grandson, I won't acknowledge this granddaughter over my dead body." Seeing this, my sister-in-law couldn't help but smirk to herself. It was exactly what my mother-in-law had said to her in her past life. The mother-in-law was as harsh as she said she would be. treating her 3 granddaughters terribly, and my sister-in-law's life was very difficult, often taking her frustration out on the children. Now, it's finally my turn. Oh, sister-in-law, why not have another child? Oh, I forgot, it seems sister-in-law can't have children anymore. What's the use of this woman if she can't bear children? It's okay, at least she gave birth to a daughter. I was startled. I immediately asked the system in my mind. The system says that my sister-in-law wants me to swap children with her. And also swap our child Luck. In her previous life, after giving birth to her younger daughter, she couldn't have more children, and in this life, I can't either. Host, precisely because of her unreasonable request, we have specially approved your request. As compensation, my application is for the poor little girl who suffered so much in her previous life. This life, I hope to be healthy and whole. It doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, I don't want to have children for such a family again. It would only add to the trouble. 10. After the doctor came in and confirmed that my health condition made pregnancy inadvisable, my mother-in-law immediately tried to make my husband leave me. My husband firmly and unequivocally refused. He guiltily protected his wife and daughter. I like having a daughter. I'm sorry to have wronged you, dear. Don't worry, I won't divorce you. Let's raise our daughter together. Sister-in-law was furious. She couldn't bear to see such a warm scene. After all, she had suffered so much in her previous life. This anger triggered her pregnancy complications. She was immediately rushed to the delivery room. My dear son is finally about to be born. 11. Sister-in-law gave birth to a big, healthy boy. Mother-in-law came over, proudly holding him. He kept praising his sister-in-law for being so capable, having given birth to the family's first boy. Oh, how miserable I am, an old woman. This is the only grandson left. After saying that, she started crying again. The hospital was short on beds, so after my sister-in-law gave birth, she was placed in the same room as me. My husband tried several times to request a room change, but there were no available beds. Mom, when I was giving birth, I saw the North Star. It was so bright, it shot right into my belly, and the next second, your grandson was here. The sister-in-law sipped the chicken soup her mother-in-law had simmered for 2 hours. Smiling and agreeing, the older brother's career is on the rise. And he's also busy taking care of his 2 young daughters at home. He rarely visits the hospital. Perhaps it's the blessing of the children, but the older brother brought the good news of a promotion and a raise last time. He apologetically gave a child's gold bracelet as a gift. He was apologizing on behalf of his sister-in-law. Before it could even be put on, my mother-in-law snatched it away. My sister-in-law wiped her tears, saying her husband had no conscience. Is a niece closer than a son? I risked my life to give him a son, and he buys bracelets for someone else. Mom, tell me, am I not wronged? And yet, she refused to breastfeed the baby. The mother-in-law was frantic. How can my precious grandson go hungry? She quickly slipped the bracelet onto her grandson's ankle and glared at me sideways. A daughter with a light fate. Can she bear such a fine thing? You don't even have a clue. That move absolutely infuriated my husband. With eyes red, he stormed out. When he returned, he was holding a large box of gold jewelry. There were pieces for the baby, and for me, announced that they have already arranged for a postpartum care center. Leaving right away, I felt a bit touched in my heart. 12. As our baby grows day by day, my husband and I carefully chose a name for her, Joannel. We hope she lives a life of peace and joy. Over there, my sister-in-law threw a grand full moon banquet. My husband went alone. Afraid I might be wronged, he came back and told our young nephew his full name, Zhou Jiawen. Supposedly, my sister-in-law consulted several masters to choose the name. I chuckled to myself, there's no such thing as a true master. This name is the one I chose in my past life. After wearing out countless books, afraid of making a mistake in this life, I simply stole the name outright. I gently rocked the cradle, amusing my daughter with a toy. The daughter giggled non-stop. Lulu, this lifetime, Mom will love you dearly. I will never let you become the pitiful Zhou Pandi of your previous life. 13. Even in kindergarten, Zhou Jiawen was already known far and wide as a child prodigy. He had mastered everything from the 300 Tang poems to elementary school math problems. Local newspapers even came to interview his mother. They asked her how she had raised such a child. Facing the camera, my sister-in-law looked smug. Oh, there's no secret to it. It's probably good genes and natural talent. My brother-in-law's daughter was born on the same day. By comparison, She's quite ordinary, even a bit problematic. Well, I've always tried to do good deeds. I suppose a parent's virtue can sometimes be passed on to their child. Soon, all the neighbors knew our family had a troubled child. Some even believed it was my own wickedness as a mother, that I had done too many bad things, and this was my retribution, visited upon my child. Even in the family group chat, someone is subtly lecturing me. Zhao Jia, I shouldn't be meddling in your family affairs, but I can't stand it anymore. Your mother-in-law cries every day, accusing you of instigating your son to cut ties with her. Did she raise her excellent son just to give him to you as a daughter-in-law? Don't overstep your bounds, or it won't end well for the child. Exactly. Look at your sister-in-law. Your mother-in-law praises her every day. She's beautiful and intelligent, hardworking and capable. Her husband has become a big manager. Her son is a little genius, and even her two daughters are well-behaved and obedient, taking good care of their younger brother. That's what a wife who brings good fortune to her husband looks like. Each sentence, each phrase, is about putting others down while lifting some up. Actually, Lulu doesn't have any serious illness. It's just that her language development is a bit delayed, perhaps due to past life reasons. Lulu isn't very willing to speak now. We have intervened in time, and the doctor says the child is actually fine and will improve gradually. After my sister-in-law spread the word like this, everyone now thinks we have a little mute at home. Even in kindergarten, mischievous kids would bully Lele, throwing toys at her, holding hands and circling around her, laughing loudly, calling her little mute, and taunting her for not speaking. The criticism against me in the family group chat is growing more severe. I managed to calm my husband down, holding back his anger. At this moment, my sister-in-law spoke up. She posted a picture of her child's award certificate. Zhou Jiawen has won another award. The grandmother promptly sent a big red envelope, showering her darling grandson with affection. The relatives immediately jumped on the bandwagon, heaping on more praise. I picked up my phone at a leisurely pace. Congratulations, sister-in-law. Your son is so impressive. I've taken note of everything you elders have just said. Zhao Jia. Next, I'd like to ask for a favor from all the elders. 14. Countless photos were sent one after another. Along with them were the heartfelt words from my mother-in-law. Please help the elders take a look. Which woman is truly suitable for my husband? My mother-in-law is overwhelmed with choices and getting quite anxious. In an instant, the relatives who had been putting on airs fell silent, because what I posted was the matchmaking candidates my mother-in-law had chosen for my husband. According to the records, my mother-in-law was urging and persuading my husband. Zhao Jia is useless. Even the daughter she gave birth to is unlucky. What? Speaks a little slowly. I think she's just mute. Last time she wouldn't even call me grandma. A daughter-in-law and daughter this unlucky. Divorce her immediately. My good son, you're my precious youngest. Mom can't bear to see you suffer like this. Listen to me, she can't have any more children anyway. Find yourself a new wife. These are the ones Mom picked out for you. See if any are suitable. Once you find the right one, we'll kick Zhao Jia to the curb. Since she's so fond of that girl, she won't want to leave her. Perfect. Let her take the kid and get lost. Then you can happily remarry, get a new wife, and have a son. The truth is, it wasn't that my daughter couldn't call out for her grandma. My husband had taught her how to speak, but even a carefree child, no matter how young, can feel the fear when faced with an adult who glares at you with disdain in their eyes. They can all sense the fear. Only when elders show affection can the younger generation show filial piety. Seeing no response in the group, I sent another video, which was sent to me by the kindergarten teacher. In the video, a little boy tearfully admitted that Zhou Jiawen had instructed them to bully Lele. The little boy said that every time they made Lele cry, Zhou Jiawen would secretly give them snacks. Several children who often bullied Lele admitted their wrongdoing. They promised they would never bully Lele again. Only Zhou Jiawen sat quietly to the side, turning a deaf ear to his classmates' accusations and the teacher's criticism. He was unnervingly calm for a 6-year-old. Teacher, what evidence do you have that I instigated this? They're the most mischievous kids in the class. It's possible they're framing me. Are children's words always true? The teacher scoured all the surveillance footage from the kindergarten but couldn't find any video of Zhou Jiawen handing candy to the children. Zhou Jiawen seemed to have anticipated this. He gave the teacher a slight smile. It's okay, teacher, I forgive you, because he had always perfectly avoided the blind spots of the surveillance cameras. 15. The mother-in-law was rendered speechless by the evidence, unable to bear the criticism from relatives. I quietly left the family group. Only my sister-in-law insists that I am falsely accusing her precious son. How could he possibly understand all this at such a young age? Zhao Jia, your mind is dirty, so everything you see is dirty. I think you're just jealous, really. I watched her stubbornly argue and felt utterly speechless. Devils are devils from a young age. In his past life, Zhou Jiawen's thoughts were already extremely dark. He appeared well-behaved on the surface, but after I criticized him, he would secretly place thumbtacks in my slippers. He would sit by my bed at midnight with a towel in hand. The little one began to smile and make sweet sounds after I discovered them. Mom, you know, how many seconds does it take for someone to die when their mouth and nose are covered? They would deliberately scare me while I was driving, causing me to crash into the guardrail. Countless incidents, too many to enumerate. I played a cat-and-mouse game with him, outwitting each other, and barely survived until he came of age, yet I still met my end at his hands. 16. I chose a primary school a bit farther from home for Lele, to avoid Zhou Jiawen. The good news is, perhaps due to the improved environment, Lele has become much more outgoing. She's made good friends and has started talking now. She's no different from her peers. When we discovered her talent for painting, my husband and I enrolled her in the best art class. The rose we carefully nurtured finally bloomed in the belated spring. Zhou Jiawen was admitted to the key primary school as he wished, and he skipped 3 grades every year. My sister-in-law speaks as an outstanding parent representative. She lived a life of boundless glory as she had always wished. If Zhou Jiawen hadn't gotten into trouble that day, an ambulance brought a little girl to the hospital. A long, thin pencil was stuck in the girl's eye. Blood covered their faces, and the doctors and nurses with them were also stained with blood. She could only silently shed tears from the pain. The parents beside her were crying heartbrokenly. At a glance, I recognized it as the school uniform from Zhou Jiawen's school. A vague sense of unease settled in my heart. Sure enough, the answer came when my mother-in-law called. Jia. Jiawen got into a conflict at school and his desk mate got a little hurt. They've been brought to your hospital. Could you please go check on them? What a well-behaved boy Gavin is. That girl must have provoked him on purpose. You're his aunt. Go check on things. Don't let her parents file a serious injury report just to extort us. I closed my eyes for a moment before speaking, stabbing a pencil through a girl's eye. And you call that a minor injury? Have you no shame? Her mother-in-law was left speechless. Her sister-in-law snatched the phone and began to curse. Zhao Jia, don't you dare try to intimidate me. We're on our way to the hospital now. It's just kids messing around. Why make such a big deal out of it? My son is focused on his studies, nothing like those stupid kids. He's going to be the top scholar, you know. Besides, who's at fault isn't clear yet. These days, girls are just difficult. 17. It wasn't until they arrived at the hospital and heard the police explain the situation that their world came crashing down. After emergency treatment, the girl was out of mortal danger. However, the injury to her right eye was too severe, resulting in permanent blindness. The girl's parents refused to settle and insisted on taking the case to court. The incident was quickly reported by local news. The once brilliant prodigy turned into a ruthless devil. This is absolutely explosive. The cause was simply that the girl accidentally witnessed Zhou Jiawen abusing stray cats on campus. She stepped forward to intervene, only to be met with punches and kicks from Zhou Jiawen. So what if the animal died? It's just a beast. Aren't you the least bit curious about what's inside its belly? Later, the girl reported Zhou Jiawen's despicable actions to the teacher. The school has always prioritized students' mental well-being. The teacher promptly reprimanded and counseled Zhou Jiawen, and informed his parents. His aunt didn't take it seriously. To her, all that mattered was that her son could continue to be a source of pride. For her, nothing else was important. Zhou Jiawen harbored a deep resentment. He sharpened a pencil to a fine point and, while the girl was taking her midday nap, thrust it up from beneath the desk into her eye. He thought he had evaded the surveillance cameras once again, but he had overlooked the fact that this top-tier primary school had the best facilities, having long since upgraded to a comprehensive, blind spot-free surveillance system. The parents could not accept the idea of such a monster attending the same school as their own children. There was a widespread demand for the school to take strict disciplinary action and expel Zhou Jiawen. My sister-in-law knelt on the floor, begging the principal for another chance, but he could only shake his head helplessly. Because of his child's actions, my eldest brother was demoted by his superiors, Zhou Jiawen was expelled, and his family had to pay a hefty sum of money, and so, the myth of the child prodigy vanished. 18. The grandmother refused to believe her grandson could be so malicious. She stormed into the hospital and threw a hysterical tantrum. He threatened the girl's family to get a letter of forgiveness so his grandson could return to school. He was dragged out by security. As luck would have it, he ran into me during my lunch break. She rushed forward and grabbed my sleeve. "Come on, help your nephew out. Pull some strings and get a new medical report issued. Just don't have it classified as a serious injury. You only have one daughter. Jiawen is so bright, he's bound to be successful, won't you need him to look after her in the future?" I shook her off and snapped, "Their daughter is blind, and you still think you've done nothing wrong? This is absolutely outrageous. Such a thing is utterly despicable, and I won't do it. Besides, we've been done since you started looking for a wife for your son. My daughter is wonderful, and that beast can't compare." Seeing that polite words didn't work, the mother-in-law put her hands on her hips and started yelling, "That girl only lost an eye, but my grandson got expelled. Now no elementary school in the city will take him. His bright future is ruined. You and your whole family have no conscience." When the girl's family heard this, they nearly beat the old woman to death. When my sister-in-law rushed over, my mother-in-law already had 2 black eyes. Her face was swollen from being slapped. She demanded to know why I didn't stop it. I spread my hands helplessly. "I'm busy, I have to work. Besides, wasn't it you who egged Mom on to come make a scene at the hospital?" My sister-in-law looked around guiltily. She helped her mother-in-law up and said loudly, "Mom, if these lousy schools won't take me, then I just won't go. Blind fools, just you wait and see. My son doesn't need to go to school in the city to become the top scholar." I walked up to her and stared into her eyes. I began to ask, "Sister-in-law, are you really telling me you had no idea about all the terrible things your son did? Aren't you afraid to have given birth to such a frightening person?" 19. The sister-in-law's face froze, a flicker of hesitation appearing in her eyes. How could she not know? After Zhou Jiawen's case blew up, many parents came forward to expose the truth. The kids at school are most afraid of Zhou Jiawen. Although Zhou Jiawen is younger than his classmates, he is cunning, and every time a classmate gets hurt, it always seems to involve him. He always manages to talk his way out of trouble with the teachers and then paints himself as the victim. Even the homeroom teacher couldn't help but remark. Once, he came in second on a monthly exam. He came to see me in the office during my lunch break, and after he left, I found a chrysanthemum in my teacup. I have a severe chrysanthemum allergy. Even the scent can trigger an asthma attack. Later, I always caught a whiff of chrysanthemum scent from his textbooks. Who wouldn't be afraid of a child like that? In my past life, I constantly guided and monitored him, although Zhou Jiawen held a strong grudge. Fortunately, he never resorted to extreme actions that harmed others. In this life, my sister-in-law only cares about the honors he brings home, treating the child's extreme and cruel behavior as the quirks of a little prodigy. Aren't all those genius scientists a bit eccentric anyway? My sister-in-law retorted defiantly, silently covering the wound on her arm with her sleeve. It seems this child spares not even his own doting mother, are solitary and antisocial personality. The same thing. If I were you, I'd send him to a mental hospital. I interrupted. Zhao Jia, you crazy woman, are you jealous that I now have a genius son, raising a mute daughter yourself, with a black heart that doesn't wish well for others' sons? Your mute daughter, timid and weak-willed, like a jinx. My sister-in-law yelled at me, not noticing Lulu behind her. Since cutting off contact, Lulu hasn't seen her aunt. "Mom, I won first prize in the drawing competition. The teacher said this can add points to my art score." Lulu pulled out a certificate and ran over happily. I lowered my head, touched her forehead, and gave her a thumbs up. "Sweetie, you're amazing." This child before her eyes had the exact same face as her mute daughter from a past life, yet was now beaming with a radiant, joyful smile. My sister-in-law froze, with a complicated look in her eyes. She stared at Lele in my arms. Over and over again, her eyes reddening, she turned her head away and spoke with disdain. "What's the big deal? It's just some crappy drawing contest. We have a pile of certificates at home." 20. I saw Zhou Jiawen again at my mother-in-law's funeral. It was the 10th year since my sister-in-law brought Zhou Jiawen back to our hometown to study. At that time, Zhou Jiawen was already an adult, about to take the college entrance exam. The grandmother couldn't bear to leave her eldest grandson, so she followed back to their hometown to take care of him. Over the past 10 years, she hasn't asked about us even once. She can't even pronounce Leilei's full name. She always said that there were many granddaughters, all useless, but only one grandson, that's the precious one. Now, this precious one became the chief culprit in causing her death. Zhou Jiawen attended school in the county town, the local middle school, in pursuit of better academic performance metrics. Admitted him, however. Zhou Jiawen grew increasingly unruly, according to the neighbors of his grandmother. Both his teachers and classmates were afraid of him. They feared the sinister glint in his eyes behind his glasses. The demon in the boy's heart grew stronger, with no outlet for its release. Several times, adults saw Zhou Jiawen carrying a black plastic bag into the alley. He would take out cat and dog food from his pocket, luring nearby stray animals. After they all foamed at the mouth and died, he would put them into the plastic bag and drag it away. The next day, some disemboweled animal carcasses would be glaringly displayed in the stinking gutter. When your mother-in-law was seriously ill, we went to visit him at his home. The child's room wasn't properly closed, and I sneakily peeked inside, nearly giving me a heart attack. Goodness, his bookshelf was full of glass jars, all containing the ears of kittens and puppies. It was terrifying. You know, no matter how outstanding such a person is, isn't he still a scourge to society? And let me tell you about your mother-in-law's death. The neighbor lowered her voice and leaned in close to me. At that moment, Zhou Jiawen looked over from a distance, his calm, placid expression concealing a razor-sharp danger. The neighbor jumped in fright and hurried away. Even if he didn't say it, I knew his grandmother's death was connected to him. Whenever Zhou Jiawen got into trouble at school, he would be taken home to rest. His grandmother was responsible for taking care of him. After years of hardship, his grandmother had wasted away to a shadow of herself. Later, when she fell ill and was bedridden, she hoped Zhou Jiawen would look after her a little. Zhou Jiawen always brushed things off with the excuse of being busy with studies. Sometimes, waiting for his sister-in-law to get off work, he would realize that his mother-in-law hadn't eaten or drunk anything all day. As for Zhou Jiawen, he took good care of himself. Finally, his sister-in-law couldn't hold back and scolded him. From then on, the way he looked at his grandmother grew increasingly intense. Finally, on a snowy night, her mother-in-law suddenly died of a heart attack. Before she died, the emergency medication scattered all over the floor. She lay in bed, unable to reach even one pill, and could only gasp her last breath. 21. Mom, are you doing well? Zhou Jiawen's words just blurted out, making me extremely nervous. I forced myself to stay calm and managed a strained smile. Child, I am your aunt. You're mistaken due to your grief. Zhou Jiawen's eyes darkened, and he put on a fake smile. Hello, Auntie. He actually has memories from his past life. Seeing that he hadn't seen through me, I quickly made an excuse and left. Auntie, don't forget to come to my celebration banquet. There are 2 months left until the college entrance exams. His tone was confident and assured. Auntie, wouldn't you like to be the mother of a top scholar? I can make that wish come true for you. Auntie, I froze, pretended not to hear, and hurried away. I didn't dare look back, terrified that if I did, I'd see that same ghastly, sinister smile from a past life. 22. Zhou Jiawen never got to attend the celebration banquet for the top scholar. He didn't become the top scholar, not even making it to the college entrance exam, because on the eve of the college entrance exam, he killed his sister-in-law. He killed his own mother. His sister-in-law knew everything Zhou Jiawen did to his mother-in-law from start to finish, to save her son. She chose silence. She thought her actions would earn her son's gratitude. She wasn't unaware of the demon in her son's heart. She just couldn't let go of her obsession. In this lifetime, she was determined to become the mother of a top scholar. When the college entrance exams finally arrived, she was so overjoyed she drank some wine, held her son, and wept. She poured out the hardships she had endured. She said it didn't matter if grandma died, as long as her son was safe and sound. She vowed she would never hand over the surveillance footage to anyone, not for the rest of her life. The surveillance footage shows Zhou Jiawen killing a stray cat in front of his grandmother, and then, As she lay dying, deliberately scattering her emergency medication across the floor, he crouched down, quietly observing her agonizing struggle. All the while, he watched his watch and counted down. How long it takes for a person to die. You'll be the top scholar in the future, and mom's life won't have been in vain. That bitch Xiao Jia. I'm luckier than you, ha 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 ha. But son, you need to rein in your temper. Not every time. There's a mother to protect you. She really loves you. Do you know how hard it is for your mom? You're in the countryside, and I didn't even bother with your two older sisters. Those two brats, without my discipline, are actually living much better than they did in their previous lives. My sister-in-law grew more and more animated as she spoke, completely oblivious to the seething fury in Zhou Jiawen's eyes. Like a raging inferno, it only grew more intense. He knew his mother's love for him came with conditions. Mom, I helped make your wish come true. Can you help make mine come true? He asked coldly. It was a terrifying calm, holding her precious son. My sister-in-law swore on her heart that she was willing to do anything. Remember when the top scholar gave his speech and called out his mother's full name? I'm Jiang Fen. Speak up, son. What do you want? Zhou Jiawen nodded. He looked deeply at the excited woman in front of him. I'm so tired, Mom. My whole life, I've only ever had one wish. What is it? I'll make it come true for you. Thanks, Mom. The next instant, my sister-in-law stared at the blade in her own heart in utter disbelief. Blood gushed from her mouth, yet she had not a shred of strength left. Zhou Jiawen pulled the knife out, only to plunge it into her stomach. My wish is to kill someone with my own hands. You're such a great mom. 23. The day Zhou Jiawen was sentenced to death, I went to see him. After review, the system has decided to terminate the antisocial personality disorder support program every cycle. The outcome remains the same. Mom, it's been a long time. Zhou Jiawen smiled and nodded at me. His eyes remained utterly devoid of emotion. Have you ever felt a shred of remorse in your past life? And in this one, you killed your own mother, you monster. I confronted him in a rage, even wanting to take him out with my own hands. He tilted his head, a look of confusion on his face. From behind the glass wall, and what kind of feeling is that? Mom, I never learned that. I just want to be myself. His attitude was terrifyingly cold, and his words sent chills down my spine. I realized how foolish I had been. I shouldn't have tried to talk about emotions or morality with a beast. May you rest in peace, you monster. I walked out of the prison, my husband standing by the car with Lele. Lele got into a prestigious university. The future looks bright. She stepped forward, looking at me with concern. Mom, why are you crying? Don't cry. How about we go shopping and have cake? I smiled, wiped away my tears, and nodded. Without Zhou Jiawen in my life, even if I'm just an ordinary NPC, I'm content. Story 2. In our past life, my junior sister immediately chose that pure white, beautiful fox at first glance. As for me, I picked a ferocious-looking black snake. My junior sister mocked my spirit beast for being ugly and ill-tempered, but she never expected this black snake's true form was actually the dragon prince from the ninth heaven. The moment the prince returned to the ninth heaven, he demanded to marry me as his crown princess. My junior sister went mad with jealousy, hugging me as she detonated her golden core to perish together. Reborn in this life, she couldn't wait to snatch the black snake first, leaving me no choice but to take the white fox. Little did my junior sister know, being the crown prince's consort isn't as glorious as it seems. Extracting spiritual roots, severing meridians, gouging heart's blood, these experiences shall be yours to endure. Master, I want this black snake, junior sister Mirabelle coquettishly pleaded to the master. The master showed a disapproving expression. Mirabelle, this black snake seems to carry too much ferocity in its aura. It might be difficult to control. The white fox, on the other hand, has a much gentler spiritual energy. It would suit you better. Mirabelle hugged the black snake tightly, refusing to let go. No, master, your disciple just loves this black snake. I took a liking to it at first sight. Perhaps this is fate's arrangement. Seeing Mirabelle's persistence, the master could only dotingly ruffle her hair and say, very well, have it your way then. Witnessing this scene before me, I suddenly realized I had been reborn. In my previous life, I brought back two spirit beasts from the mystic void realm. One was a black serpent, the other a white fox. The mysterious realm is fraught with dangers, and any spirit beast that can survive there is certainly no ordinary creature. Therefore, our master decided to let my junior sister and me directly form contracts with them. My junior sister, with her delicate beauty and lively personality, has always been our master's favorite since childhood. She immediately took a liking to the beautiful white fox and clamored to form a contract with it. The master didn't even ask for my opinion before giving the white fox to her, even though I was the one who brought both spirit beasts back, had no intention of competing with her, so I simply contracted the black snake directly. But what no one expected was, this seemingly ordinary black snake was actually Lucian, the dragon prince from the ninth heaven. He descended to the mortal realm merely to undergo tribulations, yet by chance I brought him out of the mystic void realm, making him my contracted spirit beast. After Lucian regained his princely status, his first act was to marry me as his crown princess. My junior sister Mirabelle was green with envy at the time, having always demanded the best since childhood. How could she tolerate me being above her? Thus, in extreme unwillingness, she actually self-destructed her golden core to perish together with me. I withdrew my wandering thoughts and naturally picked up the white fox, feeling the fluffiness in my hands. My mood became even more cheerful. Then I shall wish my junior sister achieves her desires, living in harmony with her contracted spirit beast, relying on each other. Mirabelle carefully cradled the black snake, treating it like some long-lost treasure that had been recovered. She looked at me disdainfully. Senior sister, in this lifetime, I want you to witness with your own eyes how I reach the pinnacle. When that time comes, all of you will be trampled beneath my feet. Wonderful, I simply can't wait. Who would have thought someone would be so eager to take on my calamity for me? Mirabelle is no junior sister. She's a living bodhisattva. In her past life, what Mirabelle saw was merely the surface of things. She only knew of my glorious days, when I could become the noble crown princess of the Nine Heaven Dragon clan, but this was something I nearly lost half my life to achieve. Lucian has an extremely violent temperament. Although he was my contracted spirit beast in my past life, he showed me no respect whatsoever. He resented me for contracting him because he actually had someone else in his heart. That person was none other than Princess Daphne of Penglai continent. In their childhood, Daphne once entered the mystic void secret realm and shared a brief connection with Lucian, which made him unable to forget her for years to come. I took him out of the mystic secret realm, which in his eyes might have been seen as ruining his destined marriage, let alone forming a covenant with him. Thus, no matter how much effort I put into caring for him, he remained as cold as ice toward me. Later, Daphne came to Luyun's sect to seek apprenticeship and became my junior sister, making Lucian's heart cling even more to her. When Daphne's spiritual root was damaged, Lucian dug out mine and gave it to her. When Daphne was poisoned, Lucian sent me to the perilous land of slaughter to find the antidote, for which I severed all my meridians. After Daphne was severely injured, Lucian made me extract heart's blood daily to heal her. Only after Lucian had tormented me to the brink of death did he successfully overcome his tribulation and ascend as the crown prince of the Nine Heavens. Gazing at my lifeless form, he suddenly attained enlightenment and realized I was his true love. He then recklessly insisted on making me his consort, defying even the heavenly emperor's will. Truth be told, even if Mirabelle hadn't dragged me to death with her in our past life, my fate probably wouldn't have been much better. After all, how could the noble crown prince possibly marry a mere mortal? Given a second chance at life, I'd rather stay as far away from Lucian as possible. Since Mirabelle is so eager, let her go and experience the torturous love with Lucian. I just want to focus on cultivation, striving to secure a foothold in this dog-eat-dog world. I carried the white fox back to my cave dwelling. It lazily glanced at me, then turned its fluffy tail towards me, clearly unwilling to say more. I sighed inwardly, thinking it's exactly the same temperament as in my past life. In my previous life, I heard that although this white fox had pure bloodline, it strongly disliked being close to humans. Mirabelle had formed a contract with it for a long time, yet never even got to see its human form. I spoke politely yet distantly. You don't need to be so wary of me. Since you're unwilling, I won't form a contract with you. The white fox froze for a moment, then suddenly turned its head to look at me. It finally spoke its first words to me. You took me away, yet refused to form a contract with me. Unlike Lucian's sinister ruthlessness, the white fox's voice was pure and melodious, instantly evoking goodwill just by hearing it. This is only natural. All matters should be based on mutual consent. My contracted spirit beast will be my lifelong partner. Why would I seek a companion who's merely physically present but emotionally distant? I don't require my spirit beast to be exceptionally powerful. I only ask for its genuine sincerity toward me. The white fox examined me with surprise, sizing me up for a moment before suddenly speaking somewhat shyly, forming a contract with you isn't entirely out of the question. However, we fox spirits have always been devoted to one love. If I choose you, then even if we have to search the highest heavens or plumb the deepest hells, I would never abandon you, but I'll need some time to verify the truth of your words. As soon as the words were spoken, a sudden flash of white light appeared before my eyes. Immediately after, that snow-white fox transformed into a beautiful young man. The youth's skin was flawlessly fair, with exquisitely sculpted features, and a head of silver hair cascading freely over his body. Such peerless beauty could not possibly belong to the mortal realm. Most crucially, the youth was completely unclothed at this moment, his jade-like body fully exposed before my eyes. My face flushed crimson instantly, leaving me frozen in place. Oh my, who would have thought this fox would look so stunning after transforming? Even 10 Lucians combined couldn't compare to a single strand of his hair. Why aren't you looking at me? After the white fox took human form, even its voice gained a bewitching charm, truly living up to being a fox spirit. Put your clothes on first. I don't have any clothes. After saying this, he seemed somewhat aggrieved. Immediately after, his jade-white arms reached out from behind me and wrapped around my waist. You want to be my master, yet you won't even prepare clothes for me. What kind of logic is this? I had no idea it would suddenly take human form. I was already prepared to bid farewell to this arrogant white fox, but that hand clung tightly to my waist. In my panic, I directly removed my outer robe and draped it over him. With just one glance at him, I felt my heart tremble violently again. Hiss, this half-covered look seems even more enticing. By the way, I haven't told you my name yet. My name is Bran, and so, Bran temporarily moved in with me. I'm eager to improve my cultivation, rising before dawn every day to practice swordplay. With Bran watching by my side, Isla, your sword retraction was too slow just now, too off-target, and too light. This strike lacks sufficient lethality. This move is somewhat better, but still not quite there. Bran sprawled lazily on the rattan chair, his robe loosely open, revealing his firm chest. While practicing swordplay, I couldn't help stealing glances at him, which stirred up a fire within me. This male fox, putting on such an act, isn't he deliberately trying to distract me? Then tell me, if this won't do and that won't do, what exactly should I do? I strongly suspect Bran did it on purpose, yet the next second, the silver-haired youth suddenly approached me and embraced me from behind. His warm breath instantly brushed against my face. My body stiffened. Then, Bran grasped my wrist and guided me through the move I had been struggling with. Focus, channel your spiritual energy to the tip of the sword. Bran's voice reached me, and I quickly snapped back to attention, following his movements to execute an entire sword technique. It's really different. With Bran's guidance, the power of this move of mine has increased several times over compared to before. I couldn't help but eye him suspiciously. Just what is the origin of this fox? Despite having such low spiritual energy and appearing utterly fragile, his discernment is terrifyingly sharp, able to spot the crux of the matter at a glance. He was like an enigma, whether in this life or the last. I never truly understood him. I was about to say something when suddenly I sensed a powerful energy fluctuation coming from the direction of Mirabelle's cave dwelling. I took Bran to see the commotion at Mirabelle's place. There, Mirabelle was seen sitting on the ground in disarray, looking pitifully at the black-clad man standing before her. The man had a sinister and fierce appearance, yet I recognized him all too well. It was Lucien. Too, damn woman, I've told you I don't want to form a pact with you. When will you finally release me from this contract? Lucien gripped Mirabelle's throat and roared. Mirabelle could barely breathe, yet she still gazed at Lucien with that fragile, affectionate look in her eyes. Lucien, I genuinely like you. Lucien's face darkened as he impatiently shoved her away, making her land right at my feet. Tisk, junior sister, what's wrong with you? Why are you fighting with your own contracted spirit beast? Mirabelle was about to say something when she suddenly froze upon seeing Bran. Her eyes filled with awe, then, a deep sense of jealousy surfaced once again. You're that white fox. Why did you take human form so early in this life? when no matter what I did in the previous life you refused to transform. Mirabelle's face twisted with the flames of jealousy as she stepped forward, reaching to grab Bran's sleeve, but I blocked her. Junior sister, what are you talking about? Bran is my contracted spirit beast. Your black snake is over there. I pointed at Lucian. Mirabelle snapped back to reality, quickly averting her gaze from Bran and refocusing all her attention on Lucian. The two of them kept tugging at each other, and in no time, they had drawn quite a crowd of disciples. What's going on? Why is Junior sister being so submissive to her contracted spirit beast? Exactly, this black snake is way too unruly. They've already formed a contract, yet it still tries to harm its own master. Look at senior sister's spirit beast. Oh my, it's so beautiful. Even if its power is weak, a white fox this gorgeous is totally worth it. Hearing someone praise his beauty, Bran secretly curled up the corners of his mouth, then turned his back to me, afraid I'd notice. Little did he know I had already taken note of his every move. I was well aware of this fox's inherent arrogance. Just at that moment, the master arrived in haste. Seeing his prized disciple actually groveling before a little black snake, his face instantly darkened. You dare, vile beast. The master struck at Lucian, but the junior sister screamed in fright and shielded him. Master, please don't hurt him. Then, she suddenly coughed up a mouthful of blood. The master was heartbroken. Mirabelle, how could you still protect this vile creature? Lucian is my contracted spirit beast. No matter what he does, I will always stand by his side. My junior sister was still loudly proclaiming her love for Lucian, failing to notice the growing disappointment in our master's eyes. At that moment, Lucian suddenly snorted coldly. Who needs your protection, damned Taoist? How dare you attack me? To everyone's shock, he actually launched an attack against our master. The master was caught off guard and truly struck by Lucian, immediately feeling a metallic taste in his throat, nearly spitting out blood. With quick wit, I stepped forward to support the master, angrily rebuking, you audacious beast, how dare you attack the leader of the Luyan sect? Mirabelle's face turned pale with fear, yet she shielded Lucian, pleading tearfully, Master, I beg you to forgive Lucian, he's not inherently evil, it was I who forced the contract upon him. Angering him, it's all my fault. If punishment is due, let it fall upon this disciple. Mirabelle firmly believed that given her master's fondness for her, he would handle this matter with leniency and not truly punish him. Yet the master coldly declared, since you sincerely plead for this wretched creature, go to the discipline hall and receive 10 lashes. Moreover, you must participate in the sect's grand competition 3 years later. Only the victor may become the next leader of our Luyan sect. The junior sister instantly widened her eyes in disbelief, her face turning pale. If it were just about receiving the whip, it wouldn't be so bad, just a moment of pain. But the words that followed from the master made the junior sister completely uneasy, because the master had long ago revealed to her that she was the chosen successor to the sect. As long as her cultivation progressed, everything would fall into place. So she had never felt much urgency, but now the master explicitly stated that only by winning the sect competition could one inherit the Luyan sect. What should we do about this? Among all the disciples of Luyan sect, I've always been the one with the highest cultivation. If she faces me, can she really win? Mirabelle panicked and wanted to step forward to plead with the master, but the master left without even turning his head. The remaining disciples, seeing there was no more excitement to be had, quickly left as well, not forgetting to take a jab at Mirabelle on their way out. Tisk, well, now you've got to face off against the most formidable senior sister in the entire sect. Good luck with that, junior sister. Isla. Mirabelle's face darkened as she glared at me angrily. What's wrong, junior sister? Why are you suddenly so angry? Could it be that you're scared now that you know you're no match for me? Mirabelle choked, then suddenly thought of something. Humph, don't get cocky. In 3 years, I'll definitely defeat you. I said I'd crush you under my heel. After speaking, she ran toward Lucian with adoration all over her face, asking softly if he was hurt anywhere. Bran rested his chin on my shoulder and said lazily, is your junior sister really not a spirit beast? She wags her tail better than a dog. I burst out laughing. This fox really has a sharp tongue. I knew what Mirabelle was thinking. She simply wanted to continue pursuing Lucian as the crown prince of the 9 heavens. Helping her win first place in a sect competition would be nothing to him. If he wished, I shook my head. Things aren't as simple as you imagine, my foolish junior sister. I continued dragging Bran into relentless day and night training, because I desperately wanted to grow stronger. The taste of being at others' mercy in my past life remains vivid. I know well that only with a strong fist can one speak with authority. If in my past life I had the power to rival the 9 heavens, I would have slain Lucian with a single sword stroke long ago. How could it have come to such a miserable state? In the following days, I was astonished to discover that no matter how fast I progressed, Bran could always keep pace with my rhythm. Though his spiritual power showed no increase, he always managed to pinpoint the crux of the problem with uncanny accuracy. With such sharp eyes, I'm afraid even our master can't compare to him. As days passed by, news about Mirabelle and Lucian would occasionally reach us. Now the entire sect knows that the junior sister has become a dog licking the boots of that beast, exerting all efforts just to earn a smile from him. She spends all day trying to please Lucian and hasn't visited the training grounds for a long time, seemingly determined to take shortcuts all the way. However, she won't get her wish, because on this day, Daphne finally arrived. As the little princess of Penglai continent, Daphne's noble status allowed her to directly become the master's disciple. She became the new junior sister. Coupled with her exquisite beauty and gentle temperament, she quickly gained immense popularity. What Mirabelle found most unacceptable was Lucian suddenly becoming ruthless in demanding to dissolve their contract. That day, as Bran and I were returning from the training ground, we suddenly heard Mirabelle's piercing scream, "Lucian, I've sacrificed so much for you, and now you want to break our bond for this woman? I've long told you I despise you. It was you who forced me to stay. My heart belongs only to Daphne. Stop wasting your efforts." Lucian's look of disgust pierced Mirabelle's heart, causing large teardrops to fall from her eyes. Daphne giggled softly. "Senior sister, forced affection isn't sweet. Since Lucian's heart doesn't hold you, why insist?" Mirabelle glared at her with venomous hatred. I knew that with Mirabelle's jealousy, going astray was the most natural thing, and she was only missing the final push. Sure enough, it wasn't long before I heard that Lucian had brutally dug out Mirabelle's spiritual root. Daphne had encountered cultivation obstacles years ago, which damaged her spiritual root. Now, joining the Luyun sect, she also aims to restore it. Lucian somehow heard about this matter and actually said to Mirabelle, "Since you love me so much, why not offer your spiritual roots to Daphne? It would fulfill a long-held wish of mine." Upon hearing this, the master was furious. After all, Mirabelle was his beloved junior disciple whom he had doted on since childhood, and there was still some affection between them. Unable to easily punish the well-connected Daphne, he decided to teach Lucian a lesson instead. Yet Mirabelle actually stepped forward to shield Lucian, saying, "Master, please don't harm him. I am willing to bear all consequences alone." In the end, the master's face turned from pale to livid, utterly disappointed in Mirabelle, leaving only these words, "Since it has come to this, don't you dare regret it." From then on, not a single person in the entire sect failed to say that Mirabelle must have been bewitched, to be so fixated on a mere spirit beast. When I saw Mirabelle again, she was curled up on the ground in agony, her face deathly pale, cold sweat continuously breaking out. "Isla, you must be quite pleased to see me like this, aren't you? Haha, you simply don't understand. Lucian just hasn't realized yet that it's me he loves." I sighed, truly unable to comprehend what Mirabelle hoped to achieve by doing this, exhausting all efforts and covering herself in wounds, all just to please a man. Even if she did get her wish and became the crown princess, what then? In the end, she's just a daughter flower that needs to cling to a man, forever without a voice in front of men. In my past life, after having my spiritual root extracted, there was only one thought in my heart, to one day personally take revenge. Yet Mirabelle only felt that she had taken one step closer to winning over Lucian. "Junior sister, now that you've lost your spiritual root, have you thought about what to do in the sect competition 3 years from now?" As soon as these words were spoken, Mirabelle's expression instantly changed. She had been busy trying to please Lucian all this time and had long forgotten about the sect competition. Senior sister, please help me. After all, we grew up together as fellow disciples. I beg you to help me kill Daphne. As long as Daphne is gone, Lucian will definitely notice me." Mirabelle grabbed my sleeve. Speaking with frenzied desperation, I gently pushed her away. "Come to your senses, even without Daphne, Lucian was never the right one for you. It's not too late to walk away now. Mirabelle's eyes reddened. Isla, if you won't help me, fine. I don't need you mocking me. I shook my head and turned to leave. No advice can stop a man determined to ruin himself. Mirabelle wouldn't give up even if she reached the Yellow River. 3. With the sect competition approaching, I refused to slack off and practice desperately every day. Under Bran's guidance, I'm making rapid progress, almost no one on. The training ground is my match, except for Daphne, since her spiritual roots were restored. Her cultivation has been advancing by leaps and bounds. Everyone says Daphne is a once-in-a-generation genius, only I know it's because Lucian has been continuously transferring spiritual energy to her, aiming to help her win first place in the sect competition. Lucian is someone whose love and hatred are both extreme. When he loves someone, he would give them the best without hesitation. When he hates someone, he wishes nothing but their death. To help Daphne quickly improve her cultivation, he even tapped into his vital energy. This caused his complexion to grow increasingly pale. As Mirabelle's spirit beast, he still helped Daphne like this, drawing endless gossip from fellow disciples. Senior sister, you're truly amazing, but I'll improve even more next time. Daphne had her long sword knocked from her hand by me, yet showed no anger, still smiling as she spoke. Having lived 2 lives, I naturally knew she wasn't someone simple. Daphne's methods are far more sophisticated than Mirabelle's. With just a few words, she can turn the situation to her advantage. In my past life, she effortlessly had Lucian torment me to the brink of death. Then I look forward to competing with my junior sister 3 years from now. I had no desire to speak further, but Daphne suddenly remarked, "Senior sister's spirit beast is truly beautiful. Standing beside you, it's like you're from 2 different worlds." She gazed at Bran with tender eyes, her expression openly revealing admiration and desire. My face darkened. Who wouldn't recognize such sarcastic words? And to think, she actually set her sights on Bran. Just as I was about to speak, Bran wrapped an arm around my waist, rested his chin on my shoulder, and murmured ambiguously, "Thank you for the compliment. We fox spirits value appearance highly, and our chosen masters must be beauties, so you'd better not set your sights on the fox spirits." As soon as these words were spoken, Daphne's expression immediately changed. Bran was blatantly mocking her for being ugly. As the little princess of Penglai, when had anyone ever dared to ridicule her like this? Now that her dignity had been slighted, she felt thoroughly uncomfortable. Senior sister's spirit beast is quite sharp-tongued. I'll take my leave for now. I thought this was just a minor incident, but who knew there would be more to come. That day, when I returned